welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be building a penthouse and office space for a successful matchmaker in Ciudad Enamorada. I am building for a family that currently lives here, and I'm building on the lot which you can see the name of in the corner. I'm not going to try and repeat it because I think I'm going to butcher it, but it's a 20 by 15 lot and it's situated in the more town city area of Ciudad Enamorada, and I'm building for this family. I completely forgot their name, but it is a very successful matchmaker. They are a towny family, and she is married to a writer. And the whole idea is that he wants this really small life and for slow-paced life, and she wants a more fast-paced life. She wants to live in the city, and they kind of have like a little bit of a disagreement about that. But they save a lot of money. They move out of their rural town and they finally find themselves in the city. He's not too happy about it, but she's very happy about it. And apparently she has become very consumed by her success as a matchmaker. So I'm building it for that family. I'll pop them either on the screen or I'll pop their name on the screen. But I think that this lot can be used for many other things, especially if there are work from home elements for whatever career your sim may be a part of. So with a matchmaking career, you can, I don't know if that's what it's originally called, but I know that a branch later on in the career is matchmaking and then a counselor, a relationship counselor. But we're going to be building for the matchmaker. You can obviously, do relationship counseling in the office space that I'm going to be building, but I don't think that any of the at-home activities for the counseling branch of this career will involve you actually having sims over and counseling them on the relationship. So yeah, to make it the office space more lively though, when I was playtesting the lot, I did set, or I made like a club of matchmakers. I called them the matchmakers, but the other people of the club were not matchmakers. But and then you can also set the requirements for the club is that they must have a high skill level. And then I set the club activities like to do researching, to read books, to watch movies. Now, unfortunately, when you set club activities, you cannot set them to a specific skill or theme or whatever. So you cannot say read only romantic books or read or watch only romantic television shows or movies. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but I just did that so that when she's working from home, which is what I would rather choose than having her disappear into a rabbit hole, because I like to be involved in my sims. I like active careers. So to make it more active, I would rather than have her work from home, and then I would set the club gathering at this venue, and then I would start the club gathering when she starts working from home, so that the office is full of other sims. She can have conversations and do some of her work from home interactions with them. And yeah, I thought it worked really well. Like I said, the only thing is that you cannot set romantic or specific actions for club persons to do, club members to do, like reading only romantic books. They can only read books in general or watch movies or TV in general, and then they can choose whichever TV show they want to watch. And then researching, they will research in general. They cannot research, for example, one of the at-home activities for a matchmaker is to research date locations, so they cannot only research that. But I just, like I said, included that club situation for the office to be more busy, to make it look like she has co-workers or people working under, because she is a very successful matchmaker, so she would obviously be the boss. And so I did it that way. You can also use this penthouse and office combo for a style influencer, and I think it would, or a what do you call this, a content creator, and then put in the objects that you would need for either a style influencer or to make it better with style influencing and content creation. So you can add the video mixing machine thingy that we got with Get Famous, or one of the video recorders that you take out. I just don't know if you can then, for example, one of the club activities that you can set is making videos or using the video mixing station. I don't know then if one of the people that you have in the club, if they use it, if there's a way for you to get hold of the recording of whatever video they're making and then sell it, and any royalties or whatever that you get would then go to you, so that can be like the way that the business makes money, if you get what I mean. I don't know if there's a way to do that, but I mean, you could definitely try to do that. And then yeah, but anyways, let me speak a little bit about what I'm doing. So I wanted the building that I'm building to look the same as what is at the bottom of it, but still different. It still had to give like this is a penthouse or a different space. So I tried to keep the one side of it kind of the same with all of those windows at the bottom, and I wanted a lot of glass. So I wanted to use the glass wall paint that we got with the Enchanted by Nature base game update, and I wanted it to be everywhere, but obviously there were certain places where I couldn't put it because I wanted to place this light from Lovestruck, which the art light, and then the business name. I guess you're gonna see that a lot throughout because I wanted it to look like a very established business or matchmaking business in the area, and I wanted obviously there to be branding so that you know, okay, this is where that matchmaker that everyone speaks about, this is her office and this is where she stays. And then I also wanted to use this fun pattern that you can find in the live edit objects for Lovestruck. If you actually look into the distance, it is on one of these other buildings as well, so I wanted to include it on here so that it kind of fits in a bit more. So you can see I kind of spoke over the whole of the outside, but the outside was just, I placed columns on all of the edges I like to do that to kind of give it a more cleaned and detailed look. And also I like to separate out different wall textures or paints with a column, just so that it doesn't look like, you know, the one section of the wall is this and then the other section is another thing. That's a little bit weird to me, so I like to separate them out by a column, or I like to create a bump out so that it looks like it's two different sections of the building and not one complete wall that is different colors. I hope that makes sense. And so I'm currently working on the inside. So the first floor is going to be where the office space is situated, and I wanted it to kind of give, you know, like suits. In suits, the offices are all made of glass. I think, if I remember correctly, I haven't watched Suits in a really long time. And also, that's also another good idea. If you play with mods, there are mods that makes active law careers. So then maybe you can have this be the office space and have it be like a, I don't know, pink girl empowering lawyer office or whatever. And because there's a lot of pink in here, and you can use it for that. So it doesn't only need to be for a matchmaker. There are different other at home or work from home possibilities that you could use this lot for, like I was saying. And so I just mapped out where I'm going to place everything. So for the bottom office section, I placed one office, like designated office, and that's obviously for the owner. And then there's a boardroom with a massive TV there, because my whole idea was that they would kind of because she's a matchmaker, they would have meetings about potential matches, and you know, she would go through their likes, their interests, their preferences, and on this big screen in front of everyone, and then everyone would, you know, confirm her decision, basically, that this is a good match for this person or whatever. You know, that's all play pretend, but that's what I was going for in my head. And then we have this reception area, which I'm currently working on, and then there's also a balcony off this area. And then I did also include a toilet down here, as well as a kitchen, like a small little kitchen for anybody who is part of the club or part of the employees to, you know, refresh themselves or get something to eat while they're working here. She may have very long days because she's, you know, this very successful matchmaker. And so she may not want to go up to the apartment all the time and have something down here to eat. And the reason why I also included a bathroom down here is because I didn't want Sims to go upstairs. So when I was playtesting, I also locked the upstairs for only homeowners or household members. I think that's what it's called. I locked it for them so that they couldn't go up there, and none of them actually did go up there anyways. So for the front section, I didn't have another space for an office. I mean, you could make the boardroom like you can split it into 2 additional offices for other members of this enterprise or whatever. So I instead made this section here in front of the reception where 2 other Sims can sit down and, you know, do whatever they need to do to assist the successful matchmaker. And I also then included that small little seating area, and then there's going to be a bigger seating area more to the right hand side or the left hand side, whatever. And then that shelf that I put at the back, I don't know what I was trying to do there, but I do end up removing it at one point because for some reason, whenever I would come back in or after saving, even though I would drag it down so that the shelf would not show at the top, it would raise itself up. I don't know what was happening there. So I just took it away and I filled it up with other things, which will, I think it is shown later in the video. And then here on this side is where I'm going to be making that bigger seating area. And I used a lot of the love struck chairs because they kind of shaped like lips and then hearts and so on. So I used the hearts on the other side and then the lips on this side. And then the other 2 chairs that you see there is from the pastel pop kit, which I really like. Actually, I recently got the kit, and the rug as well is from the pastel pop kit. And then I'm just going to put some magazines down here and a tray with some tea, or I think I replaced it with a tea tray or something like that. But that one right there is from Spa Day, and I guess it's just like for complimentary drinks when they come in and they're waiting for, you know, to be seen by the matchmaker or whatever, or to be assisted by the receptionists and so on. And then I use the desks over here from Cozy Gamer. This heart chair is either from Pastel Pop or from high school years. I'm not sure. But that was mainly the reception. It was really, really quick. But now I'm working on the bathroom. Now the thing with the bathroom is I'm actually going to shift the entire bathroom into the second part of this room. You can kind of see it there. Because I'm going to include the kitchen on this side instead, so that you don't have to go through the owner's office to get into the kitchen. I just felt like that was a bit impractical, so I am going to expand this, put the kitchen here, and then put the bathroom on the other side. So where that door is currently is where you would have gone through to go to the kitchen, but this is the owner's office and I didn't want them to be moving through the owner's office to get into the kitchen. So I'm going to remove the door and then put a door on the other side of this room, which you will see a little bit later. And then I'm just going to create this backdrop using the, I'm not sure where the pink paint is from, but this wood paneling is from Business and Hobbies. And then I just use 2 columns on either side because I'm going to put a painting in the middle. And the painting is, I was going to put a TV first, but I decided against the TV on this wall, and I would rather went with a painting from Love Struck, which is this one that lights up. And then I just put a few trinkets on the back shelf over there. So yeah, I am currently recording this on Monday to go up on Friday because this week is going to be so busy at work for me. So I actually want to try out the whole idea with the style influencer career, and maybe I'll like put it in the comments how that went, using this lot to basically have a style influencer or maybe like a content creator management agency, you know. So I'm gonna see how that goes with this lot. And I'm also currently working on a different save. So I follow Miss Lollipop Sims, which if you haven't heard of her, she's a creator in the Sims community, and recently because of the update she lost her entire saves because basically the mods that she was using for that save corrupted, and so it ended up corrupting the save. And so she's starting what she is calling a forever save. I don't know if I'll ever start a forever save, but it's kind of encouraged me to maybe start something that is a little bit more personal and that I'm going to work on, that will kind of be semi the games content, and then with custom content. For now I'm going to keep it like really slow on adding a lot of custom content because I don't have a lot of space on my laptop, and so until I can get more space on my laptop, I will be trying to keep the custom content that I'm using in bold to a minimum, but my Sims will definitely all be or all have custom content. So I've been working on the first family that I want to introduce, and I I recently posted a short for the girl that I am going to be having as my first, sim that I'm adding to the save. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. I finished the family yesterday. Maybe I'll put a picture here of the family, and then I'll be working on the builds. The thing with the save file for me is I would want to build every single thing, and I would want to make every single sim so that I can say it was all me. And that seems like such a daunting task because just of how long I take to build. And then also, I would say that I'm not the best at storylines or anything like that. So, coming up with storylines is going to be the most difficult part for me with uh, creating a save file. But I think it would be nice to, test my creativity in that way, basically. And then there, I included a TV for her in our office so that if she doesn't want to be here in this boardroom watching with everyone, she can basically just watch the movies and stuff herself. I know that one of the tasks, I think, for one of the at home tasks for the romance counseling career or the matchmaking career is to watch telenovelas, I think. And so she can kind of do that in our office, you know, while she's working away on her laptop or on a computer or whatever. And then, yeah, I wanted it to be very pink and gold and, just like girly, for a lack of a better word, in this office space. So you'll see a lot of light pinks and the oranges. And then, yeah, I think I just went with those colors or color scheme in this office. And then I put down those, they're actually under the storage category, but they are from the refined, I think the refined living kit, or the other one, which I always forget, the cozy kitsch kit. I just placed that against the window, put a few things on there, and that is like for the most part the office space. I'm just gonna decorate this hallway, and then I'm still gonna decorate the balcony, which is just really simple. I just put down a couch there and then a table to sit down, and where colleagues can go to colleagues, oh my goodness, where the employees can go, and or the club members actually, with I'm making it with quotation marks because they're actually club members, they're not employees, but I'm pretending that they are because I don't know of another way to run this as the business that I wanted to function as. Hopefully there is maybe like a mod that you can do that with, but for now the club members are the employees, where they can go and just like get a break from all of their matchmaking duties and yeah, and have something to eat or whatever they want to do on this balcony. So I used the modular couches from Dream Home Decorator on here, and then the trellises that you saw, I think that's what it's called, that you saw me put against the wall, that's from high school years actually. And I think that Sims can actually use that to climb out of a window. I've never tested that with high school years yet. So you can actually place that nearby a window, and Sims will get out of the window and go down and kind of like sneak out, I guess is the idea. But I just use that usually for decoration. But hopefully for my save file, I'll use it for one of my rebellious teens that I'm maybe gonna make so that they can sneak out of the house while their parents are sleeping or whatever. I think that when I made the Sims for my family that I was making last night, that was the first time that I made older looking Sims. And I think they turned out really nice. But one thing that I did realize is that I do not have a lot of CC clothing for more mature Sims, which I probably need to get. And then my CC for male Sims and children are wholly lacking. Like it is so bad. I definitely need to do some CC shopping for them. If you know of any male Sims CC creators, which other than the obvious ones like Gorilla and Darte, and I use Rona Sims a lot. Other than them, if you know of any, please let me know in the comments, because I really do need to get some more CC for my male sims, especially also with hairs. Max's match hairs for male sims. Now I have a lot of, I think it's Johnny Sims for male sims hair, but I struggle a lot to find Max's match hairs that I like for my male sims. So if you can please plug your girl in the comments, that will be much appreciated. And so you can kind of see that I finished the entranceway for this office, or not the office space, the penthouse space, like where she's living. Now for the current couple that I'm building it for, he doesn't want to live in the city. Like, he's not happy with where he currently is, and I think he's trying to make the best out of the situation, but this is really her dream. And so I decorated this place very selfishly. Yes, like she decorated it for herself, her vision. She did kind of give him a space because he is a writer, so I did give him an office space up there, and that's like the compromise for him, that he gets that space and that's his own. But for the most part, I think I did decorate it more for her style than for his, because this is her life. This is the life that she wants. It's not necessarily the life that he wants. So I kind of wanted to reflect that a little bit in the styling of this home. And obviously, because she's very successful, I did choose the best of the best, and I did not take into account the price of anything. And so I'm using this Countess from Life and Death. I always like to use this in homes that are like where I'm going for a more expensive look, because it is the best counters that we have, in my opinion. I do wish that the swatches were a bit different for this, that they were a bit more lighter. But then again, Life and Death is a darker pack, so I get why they aren't that light. And then later on, my game actually crashed, so I will explain at which point I lost a lot of my progress, and then which changes I made when I went back in and I tried to do it from memory, or redo it from memory. But there were some things in the kitchen that I added, because the kitchen looks so sparse, not lived in. Do I think that she cooks? Probably not. Actually, one of her traits is that she hates cooking, or not one of her traits, maybe it's one of her preferences. She hates cooking, so I don't think that the kitchen is touched as much. Maybe he cooks, but I did try to make it look a little bit more cluttered than I have it at the moment. And then here I'm just placing down a dining room table. This is a very open space, so I'm gonna do this custom fireplace so that I can kind of separate out the areas a bit, because right now it's all just very open, which I will discuss when we get there. So for the interior of the home, I went for like this black and then pastel pink with pops of green. I'm going to remove that rug, that yellow rug that is in the entryway. I'm going to remove that, and I'm just not going to place a rug there. I really struggled with looking for rugs for this apartment, because I was going with a certain color theme, obviously, and then also just a certain look. I wanted to do an art deco apartment, because if you look at a lot of the things that come with Lovestruck, I feel like it's art deco inspired, but I don't know. I don't think I achieved that vision. I think maybe there's a little bit of art deco here and there, but I think I did like a mix match of styles, and I think it turned out quite well. I think it looks really pretty, so otherwise I wouldn't have posted it. But yeah, I started out with that, but I don't know if I achieved the vision of art deco. It's kind of difficult, because I feel like the objects that we have in game doesn't lend itself to the art deco that I would want to go for. Or maybe I should just try harder to make it lend itself for that kind of style. But yeah, I am creating the fireplace. Now currently I have this section on a platform, but I didn't like how that looked, so I do remove the platform at one point. But what I started out with was a fireplace, and I sized it down really, really small. And then I looked for these logs in the debug menu. So the debug objects you can unlock with a cheat. I don't really use the cheat because I use a mod, so I always have access to debug items. So I then located the log in debug, placed the log like on top of the fireplace. You can kind of see the fireplace poking out there a little bit, which is a good thing so that you can have your sim, you know, set the fire and whatever. And then I use this glass partition from the Sleek bathroom kit to kind of create the glass. And you would have seen that I rotated one on its side so that I can cover up, you know, the back part. But that glass that I put in the back, I'm actually gonna, where the TV is on right now, I'm gonna put it in the front so that the fireplace is open to the living room and not to the kitchen. I felt like that was better. And then at the bottom of that, I placed down these Sleek bathroom shelves, and I just sized them up really big so that I could create kind of like the base on which that fireplace is sitting. And then the things at the top is actually hoods, like stove hoods. What else do you call them? Oh, there's another name for them, but it's one of those, and those are from the base game, and I just use them in the back black swatch to kind of hover over the area where the smoke would be coming from so that it acts like a chimney kind of. And yeah, I just stacked 6 of those actually together to fill up the entire section or space of the shelves that I placed on the floor to act as the base of the fireplace. It's currently only 4, but when I went back in, I felt like it didn't cover enough of the space that I made the fireplace over, so I just added 2 more in the middle so that it was kind of wider or whatever. And so yeah, I am working on the, and oh yes, your sim can still light the fire, because what I did was first I placed the glass on either side, kind of on its side, so I rotated it, and then I placed one in the front and one in the back. But when I went in and I tried to select it for your sim, or for the sim to kind of light the fire, it didn't work because the glass was in the way. And so what I did instead was I placed 2 smaller glass pieces on either side so that there was like a small little space in between that your sim can either add logs to or light the fire. Yeah, and it kind of looks like the glass is slid open, so I thought that was cool. So that's what I did there. If you want a more in-depth tutorial of me doing the fireplace, let me know and I will make a short of how exactly, you know, I got the end product for the fireplace. There were just certain things that I discovered when I was testing the lot that it didn't work with, and when I'm testing the lot at that point I'm done recording, so I didn't really record the changes that I made to make it right. But if you need me to explain anything in depth, you can let me know and I will make a reel or I'll make another video kind of showing how I made the fireplace. So oh yes, and then I placed that what do you call that, it's like a iron thing where all the wood is in, that is from werewolves, and I just placed that on the side in the fireplace so that it's kind of where your sim gets the logs that they add to the fire, because that is one of the interactions that you get with the fireplace as well, that your sims can add additional logs. So I thought that was cool. And then you could, instead of that, you can actually stack the logs that you find in debug next to it instead. That works well as well. I saw a lot of custom fireplaces using that method, but I like the one from Werewolf, so I stuck with that. And then at this point is where I lost all my progress because my game crashes by the time that I finish the bathroom that we'll be going to after this. So I had to redo all of this again. Don't forget to save your games after every room if you want to, after every 5 objects that you place, because you may have the same situation as I do. And then here I didn't know what else to place on this balcony because there is like a rooftop balcony area where I'm going to include other things like an entertainment space for them. So I was kind of clueless as to what I wanted to include on this balcony, so I just included some of the plants that, you know, Sims can take care of over there, which we got with Enchanted by Nature, and then a little eating area, and I also included a bin as well over there. And oh yes, I don't know if I showed this, but just outside of the door of this apartment is the traffic chute, the trash chute, and the mailbox that you need to place for all penthouse or any kind of apartment lot in the Sims 4. So that is there. And then here I've been adding, you know, a lot of hood textures in other spots like in the office and whatever. So I kind of wanted to call back to that, and then I used this paneling which we got with Snowy Escape, and I just used 2 columns on either side, which is from Get Together, to kind of make it look a little bit more cleaned up and so on either side of that paneling as well. And just again to bring in those hood textures that I was playing with in the office, and I think I placed it somewhere else as well, I can't remember. And now we are in the bathroom, so I lost that entire balcony, the wood section that you saw me do, placing up the curtains, and then this entire bathroom. So for the bathroom, where the toilet is currently situated in the new version of this bathroom, so where I put the towels right now is where I'm actually going to put the toilet. I decided not to have the toilet so close to the sink, sorry, and yeah, and then I put the sink in the middle so that it was kind of like a focal point of the bathroom, and I placed the sleek bathroom shelf on either side of the sink. So right now there's 2 of them behind the toilet. So instead of having it behind the toilet, because I moved it, I placed it on either side, and you can see that in the screenshots that I will include at the end of the video. And this bathroom will serve the guest bedroom. So there is 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom in this penthouse. So it's not that big of a penthouse, honestly. I think it's because I included a lot of spaces, and like I said, this is only a 20 by 15 lot, so it's not that huge. And I wanted to avoid going 1 more floor up, because with apartments and penthouse apartments, I don't know if it's like the most playable lot, to be honest with you. Building in here is very difficult because the camera is constantly bouncing to and from, which can be very annoying. So that's why I didn't want to go up another floor. It just gets too fast, and yeah, in tab mode and stuff, I don't know if this would be relevant for someone who is not a builder and takes photos of their builds, but for me, I could not take a video in a 4-floor penthouse building because of how high it is and how fast the camera moves. I don't know if anyone else has ever experienced that. But the only thing that I did cut out here is decorating this hallway. So I just included a chair and then a bookcase and then another accent table. So I didn't feel the need to really include that. This video is super long already, and I actually expected it to be much longer, just because of all of the, I actually edited it down quite a bit because of all of the jumping around that I've been speaking about, of the camera jumping around, and then also my indecisiveness, because I was very indecisive with certain things regarding this build. And for this guest bedroom, I wanted a different color scheme, still the green color scheme that I had, but I wanted it to be a stronger green. So that's what I did for the guest bedroom. Wasn't too much in there, you know, it wasn't very complicated in there. And so here, this space is what I guess the compromise offers for the husband. And I wanted it to be a little bit more darker, and more masculine in this office, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So I just added, it's a very small office, so there wasn't like a lot of space. I really do feel like it's a compromise space because of this, how small it is. But I managed to fit in everything, and then, you know, he's a writer, so he can come in here and have his own place to work and write as well. I didn't want to have him to have to go down to her office space. Is already very resentful of the life that they live, and I just don't think he would be very happy about having to go and work in her office to finishes work and whatever. So I really wanted to include a space that was solely meant for him, where he can write and so on. And then you know, if you have a single sim living here, you can always use this as their home office and maybe change up the colors a bit so that it kind of matches with the rest of the build. And so this is the main bedroom, and I do wish that I made the main bedroom just a little bit bigger. Feel like that's what she would want, but I do love, and I actually want to recreate this bedroom in a bigger space. I love the color combinations that I made in this bedroom. This bed is from Businesses and Hobbies, and then the rug that I'm going to go with is one from For Rent. Now, I actually did not know that this was a hidden swatch rug, and I was looking for something like this for the dining room, or for under the dining room table. And so you can see there that I placed that there, and then I placed a more simple rug on the other side, and I placed the one that was actually, or initially in the kitchen, I placed it in this hallway over here. But I was looking for something a bit more simple here in the bedroom, and so I went with this one from For Rent. And then I'm gonna place down side tables. I think this one is from High School Years. And then also lamps, which is the lamp from Businesses and Hobbies. This was a pre-order, not a pre-order object, but the one that you kind of get when you purchase the pack within a certain window of time. And so I just put that in the pink swatch, and I just love the blend of colors in here. And then it's all brought together with that painting, the cherry blossom painting on the back. This couch is actually is my favorite couch now. It's the one from Pastel Pop, and it's just like the perfect blush pink ever, with those blush pink lights next to it. I did want to go like a little bit more neutral in here, so that it's also like, maybe our husband said, okay, you can have pink everywhere else, but in the bedroom, you know, we got to keep it simple or whatever. But I just could not bring myself to change it when I, you know, finished up there. I think it looks so pretty in there. And then we're gonna go into the bathroom next, and then here's actually a closet space in this awkward shape. That awkward shape wasn't big enough to make a room, and so I was thinking, what else can I put there? Because I did want them to have their own bathroom. So if they, for example, did not have their own bathroom, then I probably would have gotten away with having another room in here. But I wanted to include a bathroom instead. I don't know if they would have children, just because of the fact that they are on different pages regarding the lifestyle, and she's kind of in her career era, so I didn't feel like I needed to include an extra room for that. And you know, she's grinding right now, so maybe when she gets to a place where she's happy with what she has, they will move and they will have more space for, you know, additions to their family. And then yeah, for the sink is from Sleek Bathroom, but one thing is that when you place two of them aside each other, they look the same, like they have the same objects under. Now, in previous builds, I would place things in those baskets. I would place things on the shelves just so that they look a little bit different. But I wanted to try out something else for this bathroom. So I once again, same thing that I did with the fireplace, but a different partition this time. Still from the Sleek Bathroom kit. I took this, it's either a divider or a partition, one of the two, and I rotated it with the tool mod by 90 degrees, and then I placed it over the box. And then the side ones are from Eco Lifestyle. Sized that down and placed it so that it kind of looks like the side of the sink cabinet is closed off. I was gonna leave them open at first, but I didn't think that looked right, so instead I decided to put that on either side. It fit perfectly when you sized it down into that into the sides of the sink, so that's what I use over there. And then here I had to use two of these partitions to cover the entire area, but I actually thought it looked quite good because it looks like something that you will slide across to get access to whatever is inside or at the bottom of the sink. So I liked it and I left it that way. And then I used the bathroom, Sleek Bathroom, the toilet from Sleek Bathroom as well. I like the gold accents and also how they match with one another for this kit that we got. And then I just went with a green in here because, you know, everything else is like very pink, so I went with green and then like pink accents in this bathroom. And I used the mirrors. I don't remember where that mirror is from, but the light that I put in between is from Growing Together. And then on the other side you have the bath, and then the shower for this bathroom is from For Rent, I think. I like the pattern on the shower. I thought that that was also the perfect space for a bath shower combo, and then you could have placed the toilet where the shower currently is, but instead I decided to keep it the way that I have it at the moment. And then I was going through so many of the towels to kind of decide which one I wanted, and I think I'm gonna finish off with this style, which is from Sleek Bathroom as well. And then I'm gonna have accents of green and pink. Yeah, I don't think it's green. I think it's or green with pink accents. It's green. I mean, it's neutral with green and pink accents. Oh my goodness. And then yeah, I was looking for towels to place on the wall, so I got this one from Everyday Clutter with that darker green shade. I didn't think that was a problem because if you go into the bedroom, the rug kind of has that darker green shade in it. And then here for the closet, this is where I had the most difficulty because of the narrowness of the space and also just how high up I am. It was very difficult to decorate this and then also to show and record the entire process. I was like jumping up and down every second. Every time I placed an object, the camera was going all over the place. So unfortunately, I did have to cut out a lot of the cluttering of those shelves in there, but I will include screenshots of everything that I placed in there. I used Dream Decorator. I use the bags from Modern Luxe, and then what I do with the Modern Luxe bags is, because I used it kind of facing front somewhere else in the dressing room or in the closet, what I did when I put them on the shelves was I flipped them back or rotated them so the back side of the bag was showing and it looks kind of like a different bag. And then I just placed them 3 times in different colors. It's the only bag we really have at the moment, except for the one that we have with the Grange mudroom kit. I use that one here as well. And you'll see all of the cabinets as well is from the Grange mudroom kit. I like the wardrobes that came with that, so that's why I use them. They kind of look fancy, so I thought that it fit perfectly for, you know, the kind of sim that we're building for, and also kind of like just envisioning what kind of closet she would have, even though the space is tight, trying to fit in as much as possible. And then I use the shoes from Dream Decorator, and then as you can see, I'm just raising them up and then placing them in there. And then I also managed to place in a vanity. I feel like she would have a vanity, and she can actually, the sim that I was using, she goes in there perfectly, sits down, does her makeup, no problems. So I was happy about that because I did think that maybe the space was going to be too small for it to go in there. Obviously, the cupboards that are on the side of that vanity, she wouldn't be able to reach, but there's other places that you can kind of click on so that she can change her outfit with no problem. And then here we are on the final balcony. There was one other balcony that's attached to their bedroom, but I just placed down 2 chairs there and a side table. That's it. So I didn't include that because, like I said, this video is already so long, but I will definitely include that screenshots as well. And then here for the penthouse rooftop, whatever, it's not actually rooftop because it's not on the roof, but the balcony, I guess. This is the main balcony, and I kind of wanted it to be separate from the rooms and stuff so that whoever they are entertaining, whoever they have over, can come through comfortably. And so yeah, that's what this balcony would be for. So I just placed the Love Struck bar and the back of the bar from Love Struck as well. The chairs are from Growing Together, I think, and then the awning that you saw me place over over the bar is from, what's Desert Lux? Yes, the Desert Lux kit. And I currently have the hot tub there, but I'm going to remove it. I don't like the hot tub options that we have, you know, so I didn't like the way that it looked. And I always struggle with creating outside spaces for apartments, so I really did try my best with this one. And then I was using these lights that I found in the businesses and hobbies debug, or not debug, but the live edit objects. And I just, obviously with these lights you need to attach them to something so that they are realistic, so I attached them to the awning. But the one that I'm currently busy with right now was hanging too far off, for the sake of it being realistic, I rotated it slightly with a tool mod, so that it wouldn't go off the building. And then I placed down a pole there that actually comes with these lights from businesses and hobbies as well. I am still going to place down, oh yes, a dining room table, and then also a barbecue as well, so that they, you know, the kitchen is very far from where this currently is. So because I was including the dining room just to fill up the space a bit more, I wanted to include something where they can obviously make something to eat and so on. But yes, that is really all for this build. This is where I'm going to end the voiceover. I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. Let me know what your ideas are for this build and if you like it. And you can find the build under SimWithMishka or hashtag SimWithMishka on the gallery. If you have any other ideas, please don't forget to pop those in the comments, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you would like to see more. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.